Welcome to another episode of the S.E.M podcast. Jack Bryce here, hosting again, and today joined by Denis Grinevicius. I do my best with that. I know on the mission you prompted people green apple juice, and I heard about you, but I think you actually left before I got there. So
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, most people go Felder G, and then green apple juice was a famous one. How I taught everybody who wants to say my last name correctly.
yeah, all right. And where are you calling from?
Today, Vilnuis, Lithuania.
All right. And I think are you at a church building there?
Yes, I'm at the church building. My houses are Lithuania houses are small, so I have 3 kids and a wife, and they're all home. So I decided I better walk. It's a walking distance from me, luckily enough.
There you go. This is not the first time we've had that happen for sure. That's great. All right, Dennis. Well, start us out with, how did you end up in Scotland on the mission?
I probably even will start a little bit earlier because I am convert to the church. So the first meeting I ever attend was when Russell M. Ballard, when after he dedicated Lithuania for preaching the gospel, he had a fireside meeting for few members and missionaries who there were no members actually, the few friends and missionaries who were there. And that's the first meeting me and my mom were attending. I don't remember much of the meeting. I just remember I felt very strong spirit, and especially when missionaries were singing. The funny part, I did not realize they were singing Russian because that was the language at the moment. Most people were speaking Russian, so I thought they sing beautifully, but I didn't realize it wasn't Russian. So the story goes that the second time he attended after a couple of years passed, he was visiting as an authority for general conference, district conference, sorry. And he remembered me. So he actually come and grabbed me to my shirt and says like, young man, when are you going to serve a mission? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to serve after I finish a study. He's like, no, when? And I was like, okay, 2 years, I'm putting papers in and I'm going on a mission. So I got committed by Russell and Ballard to serve a mission. So that's a good start. And then,
Pretty cool.
yeah, when I was preparing for the mission, I think it's a wise way for the Lord, because when the church is very new, most of the people would go to USA, to Utah or some other mission, so they could see how the church works, how to see what we should be striving for to achieve here in Lithuania. And when they came back, I heard a lot of stories, and I didn't want to serve in America. I was like actually praying, saying just Heavenly Father, anywhere, but I think just so it would be a challenging mission. I thought I need some challenge. I'm a strong man. I need to do something better. And yeah, so I got called to Scotland Edinburgh Mission, and I was the first, and it was a huge surprise, totally unexpected. Nobody served there, but looking back, I can honestly say the missions are pretty close. I would say a lot of similarities I see in the missions here in Lithuania. It's a hard mission. It's raining a lot. Well, Lithuania, the word Lithuania means basically rain. So it rains a lot here also, but not as much as in Scotland, and not the way I remember my mission paper says you can take umbrella, but it won't help. And as you remember, the rain goes that way. Yeah.
Yep.
Not that, just that
Every
way.
direction. Yeah.
So in Lithuania, I guess it's mostly from above, so umbrellas do help. But in Scotland, it's still it's a beautiful, beautiful experience I had.
And what was the timing of when you got your call?
Yeah, I got my call. I entered MCC in November 2001, and then I served till 2003 with 2 mission, President Wilkinson and President Reeds. I served under both, so it was a great time.
Great. All right. Well, we'll skip over the mission for a second now and catch us up on what you've been up to since getting home late 2003.
Yeah, 2003, I got home. I really worried because it's been less than 10 years since Soviet Union fell down. So unemployment, black money, mafia, everything you see on the Netflix shows kind of was happening here. So I was not really want to go back home, but when I get here, I tried to work. I understood that, I need to study again. So I went to university, finished my master's degree, but honestly didn't use it much. But the highlight was that there was a organized event for the church, and we got invited to Moscow for a young single adults conference. And the conference was absolutely what unique I ever saw in the church history at all. The whole purpose was saying basically get married, get prepared for your life. They had a 1 day for return missionaries. They had all activities based so people could get meet each other and get the family. So I met my wife there, and the whole room, 6 girls, got married on that conference. There was one guy from Baltics who got from his mission 2 days before he went to the conference. On the third day after his mission, he proposed to the girl, and they lived happily ever after still. So
Wow.
this was a successful conference for for creating families. So yeah, that's how I got. That's how I met my wife, and now I'm living here in Lithuania. Like I said, we have 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl, and yeah, I'm serving in the church, and yeah.
Good. Good. What ages are your children?
So my son is 17, daughter 12, and then the youngest turning 5 on the 10th of September. So pretty soon we're planning a birthday party at the moment for him.
That's fantastic.
So for you to understand, yeah, I know things change, but at that time it's a big family in Lithuania. For 3 kids, it's already a big family.
All right. And what do you do for work?
So I work in an international company, and we do something which is called tax-free business. Basically, when people from outside of the European Union comes to shop in Lithuania, we get the taxes back. So we're doing a good job of giving people money back. So everybody's happy. It's a very win-win situation. Merchants get customers, customers get the money, but we don't give all the money. We have a small fee for ourselves, and that's how the company runs.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yes, this was a huge blessing. I definitely saw the hand of the Lord because 3 times my wife was pregnant. I was losing my job due to some circumstances, and 3 times I've been blessed with a good job. And so, yeah, definitely.
That's great. All
And
right.
definitely,
Well,
this chopping in the rain helped a lot to get my wife. I get Dear John letter 3 months on my mission, so it's already been working out well.
There we go. Yeah, that worked out for a lot of us for sure. All right. Well, take us back to the mission. You can start at the MTC in November 03, or move into the mission however you want. We'll just go through areas, companions, any memories you want to talk about.
Well, thank you. I really have bad memory, but thanks for your podcast. The memory starts to come back. When I listened to a couple of episodes, I just literally could not sleep. Thank you guys for what you do, because I felt desire to reread my mission journals, to remember some things. I'm still kind of, I made notes to make sure I don't forget all the funny stories and everything which was going on. So, but the funny thing, I already remember that when I was flying to my mission, so still flying to MTC, I already started to write down homecoming talk. That was really funny. And reading those journals is such an embarrassment. I just every time I read, I think I should burn them. And
Oh
their
man.
memories. So yeah, MTC was great. I don't remember much of it. I remember that I served with another Russian guy who were still friends, Elder Nomichev. I remember the funny part, we were singing Call to Serve in all the different languages, and they put us to sing in Russian. And I just like, none of us knew the words. So we were just saying whatever. And my singing is the worst, probably. I think it's a torture for people to listen, but that was great. But I remember clearly when I came to the mission, and my first companion, my father, was Elder Nomichev, Mitchell Nomichev. And the funny thing that they put two hard last name together. Nobody could pronounce his last name, and then they got Elder Grinevicius, and it was like absolutely disaster. And Elder Nomichev was absolutely the best companion. And it's really funny because when I read my journal back, I have an entry saying, we've been late to home 15 minutes, second day in a row. It's just, it's so bad with Elder Nomichev. And I just like looking back and looking after how I was doing on my mission. I think he was like the best companion I ever had. He was so kind, so taking care of. He was like really charitable. He would literally would care for me like nobody else did care. And Elnovichev was not maybe the best. How should I put it? Not many people liked him. Maybe I would put it that way. But for me, he was really good example and really good friend, which I still try to keep contact with. And we had um, we had a great start because when I first came, he couldn't believe it was not raining for 2 weeks in November. Imagine not raining. So he's like, it's not possible in Scotland. But we worked very hard, and he was a really good kickoff for my mission. And I don't know how for you, but for me, it felt like there was President Wilkinson was trying to put kind of your trainer as the best, and then he put another mission who could be a struggling one or a challenging one. For me, it was Older Carter. Um, he because I was looking back. I'm looking back right now, and I realized that I did a lot of mistakes. For Eller Carter to be on the mission and just to finish honorably was already a great success. And we probably had the most success on my mission with him. And I was wondering why, because you know, with Feller Novichov, we tried to obey every single mission rule. With Feller Carter, it was more difficult to do that. But the greatest success we had was with Felder Carter. And it was different. He was different one. He was not maybe so talkative, maybe not so care, but he had a big heart no matter what. And the funny thing about Felder Carter, uh, he was telling everyone he's black. He was, I believe, from California. He's like, I'm black. It's like, dude, you're white. No, I'm black. And he truly believed that. That was his point, and it was really funny. And with him, we
What
had the most. Sorry.
what area were you in?
Oh, that. Sorry. Yeah, I should say it. That was air.
Okay.
That my first area was air, and that's where we had the most success. One day we received um, media referral to deliver a nativity video, and I just remember very clearly how we knocked the door, and the guy opened the door, and we just were hit by the smoke because he was like smoking one cigarette after another one. So we came, we taught him a discussion, and you know what? It was really heavy smoking. I thought like, well, this is our only chance. So I asked him, "Would you get baptized?" And he's like, "No, I just want a video." And then just we were disappointed, but we turned and asked his wife, Harriet, would you get baptized? She's like, yes, this is the whole reason I called you guys. And
Wow.
that's how we started to teach McDonald family. And they were really special people. And on the second discussion, Harriet says, like, I feel really uncomfortable. Can my kids also listen to discussions with me? And because I feel like, yeah, sure, come in. And then on the third discussion we come, and she said like, I read a lot about your church on the web page. She's like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get so much anti-Mormon right now. But she
Yeah.
was going like, no, I read and I already stopped smoking and drinking and coffee. And we just like, she actually read Mormon.org webpage.
Oh
and
man,
uh
that's
and
unreal.
yeah, it was like absolutely unreal. And then her husband says like, my wife's getting baptized. I think I'll go together with her. And then they come to the church with all the kids. So we end up baptized three generations: the father, the McDonald's, and their kids. And on on their baptisms, they invite more friends who comes like, "Oh, can we get baptized?" And it's like, "This never happens in Scotland. This is
Yeah.
not Scotland." But we taught the whole family of McDonald's that were get baptized, and I think that was a great success. But the the interesting part of this story is that when I moved to another area, I received a call and I learned that Harriet died. So she died, I don't know, half a year, maybe less after she received the gospel, and I got permission to travel to the funeral. It was my first member funeral at all, and it was really spiritual experience, and that's where I received my testimony that she she came for that purpose. She came to order the Book of Mormon. She got baptized. The Lord held her hair, and as soon as she done it, He took her away. So that was a very spiritual moment, and probably one of the touching stories of my mission, which changed a lot and sticks for me for a very long time.
Yeah. And she brought her whole family too.
Yes,
So
all families and friends, and I know they were struggling afterwards after she left, but yeah, I hope they will be doing fine. So after air, I got called to Dumfries. Dumfries is I started serving there with Elder Holopainen, another interesting last name, and Petri Holopainen. He's from Finland. We still have friends with him. We go to Helsinki, Finland temple at the moment, and when we visit them, his father is the temple president, and I talk with Petri when I try to talk to him when I'm there. So it was really good. Together with us, we're serving Elder Pauli and Elder Amos. And I had a really funny story with them too. One night we were preparing for Zone Leaders Conference, and we were staying all four of us, and we decided to play Pint Uno. You play that game, Alicia?
Yeah.
That was the biggest mistake. So let's start that. I lost that game, and being a silly missionary, so I had to run naked just with my towel around me around the outside with the car. But seriously, that was not the worst part. The worst part was the night when I had to go to toilet like 20 times during the night. I was totally exhausted in the morning, and but it was really funny. There also we had I had an incident. We were visiting a one member family, and she had a snake, corn snake. So I used to play with that corn snake when we were teaching.
The Copelands.
Yes, the Copelands. Yeah. Yes,
that was my first area, and that's actually where I heard about you. Was from the Copelands because we were there every week.
Did Jill show you the mark on the pavement in front of the door?
I don't recall that.
We were painting, and I accidentally dropped the paint, and the whole front yard was in the paint. And she's like, "No, I'm not gonna clean it. I'm gonna stay and remember you by that mark on that paint." So the Copelands had a corn snake, yeah, and we were teaching one discussion, and the snake got really comfortable and was sleeping in me. And when time was to go out, I took my hand in, and I understood that something is wrong. The snake pooed in my pants. And to make it even worse, this happened second time with another member's iguana done the same. So I don't know, I was attracting a lot of poo on my mission.
Oh wow!
But yeah, the Copeland story was also very interesting. Jillian was when we were teaching with her, she was crying every time we met, every time we saw something, church movie or something, and her friend said like she never cries. She never cries. She's a tough lady. She has a tough life with her family and kids and everything. But she was a great friend, and I also try to keep contact with them at the moment right now. And do you remember this? Just another memory came to me. You remember how exciting it was to get the paper letters or packages. I remember rushing to the door every time, and I think something our day missionaries might miss a little bit with the phone calls and everything. These paper letters. I was literally hating my companions, like really hating them for getting letters every week and you not getting for weeks or two. That was so bad.
That is something they don't experience anymore. I mean, it's email, and they even call home every week. So,
well, I don't know if you heard, they probably will stop doing that every week, but maybe no, it's actually every week. Yeah, they do it every day. I guess we're doing that. Different duration, but we had our fun. I remember also we had one dinner appointment with one members, and I was eating, and I was about to throw up. This is the worst eating experience I have in my eye. I was almost screaming. You had rotten eggs in your salad, and then before I did that, I remember that they said they have their home pickled eggs. Man, if you ever heard about pickled eggs, don't touch them. We like pickles in Lithuania. We eat them a lot, but pickled eggs, oh, that was disgusting. And I didn't know what to do because remember, it's like they were so proud and they were just like so trying to show off. and we had a rule. I don't know. Our companions like you never leave anything on the plate. You never do anything because otherwise people will cancel dinner appointments. So don't do that. So I tried very hard to put this egg on the side of my plate, and then I accidentally dropped it. And after I told my companion this, he said like I didn't understand. I was like, why are you so excusing? Why you keep excusing? It's fine. You dropped the egg. You were just laughing and just like I'm just so sad they didn't offer you another one instead of that one. So after that incident, I had a rule, so I always carry a package in my pocket unless there's something I don't like. I don't need to throw it in the floor. I just can throw it in my pocket quickly, while nobody sees it. And
Good idea.
yeah, and there was also Campbells. You remember in Dumfries the Campbell family, Ian?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It was the
they
ward
were
mission leader, I think, when I was there.
yes, they were really also funny. I had another story with Campbells, which is really ridiculous. So Ian says I watched the movie Church. Sorry, not Church. I watched a movie called Brigham City. Do you want to watch it, guys? Like, I don't know. It's not the church movie. No. So he's like, I'll get you a permission of the mission president. So he called mission president, said like, there's a church movie about the bishop and there's a sacrament. Can missionaries watch it? And and President Wilkinson said yes. And after I watched, if anybody watched Brigham City, it's like a detective story with about the serial killer. So
Yeah,
he was like, I can't believe I watched that movie on my mission. But I always like to be what we call that a Mormonized. I like because being in Lithuania, far away from Utah, you try to get as much as Utah stuff and Mormon stuff as you can. So watching this movie was really interesting experience when I done on my mission, and also Dumfries was famous. I don't know when you served it should be also they were feeding like 3 meals a day. Was it the same for
yeah,
you guys?
yeah. It was all the time.
3 meals a day, plus they had a missionary box at the church with Kate was always making sure people fill in and write down. Oh, we love Kate. She was absolutely great. And
Yeah,
one day our dinner appointment got canceled. And we come home and there is nothing because we don't buy food. People feed us all the time. So there was a big, huge freezer. I don't know if you were staying in the same apartment or not, but there was a huge, big, huge freezer, and we looked and we find the chicken. We found the jalapeno, and I said, like, let's cook that chicken. So we cooked that chicken. We tried to eat it, and the other jalapeno says, "This is a dead meat. It tastes like dead meat." I was like, "How do you know?" It's like, "I don't know, but this is definitely tastes like dead meat." I remember I ate the chicken because I was so hungry, but he could not touch it because yeah, it was really funny. And also Dumfries the seagulls, where they were annoying when you were there.
yep,
This is,
yeah.
I
They,
think the
I think
mission.
they target the missionary cars, right? They and the
It's not the
missionaries.
cars, which I don't care about the cars. The sleep, missionary sleep is sacred. But 4 a.m. and they start to scream and like, what? Oh, that was a disaster for me. And um, you didn't, yeah, okay. I guess then you didn't meet El Holopainen as well.
Oh,
Have you heard anything about El Holopainen?
I haven't. That's a new name to me.
Okay, Petri Holopainen was famous because he had the most beautiful girl waiting for him back home. And he knew that, everybody knew that. So he would often talk with the people on the street, and you just see him pulling off, it's like, hey, this is my girlfriend back home. And missionaries would even on his own conferences, like, hey, Petri, show us the picture of your girlfriend. It's like, oh. And just to make the story clear, he got home. She waited for him. They are married now. They have kids. So, but every time there was a fest in order. Fest in order is something what is for Americans. It's like for the strength of the youth, a big gathering of Nordic countries. He would get so nervous, like, oh, there's so many guys like hitting on her. He would be praying and fasting so she could wait for him. And yeah, this definitely helped him. And also, the funny thing with Petri, we were actually friends with all the nerds in the area. They tried to be very cheeky at the moment, but we came and talked to them, and they were like literally our bodyguards. They would walk with us. They would ask us to go to knock on the doors. They would just protect us from other nerds. It was really funny. And one day, Elder Holopainen received a package from home, and they had a national. It's a Finnish thing called licorice, but it's salmiakki. It's a salty licorice, and I hate licorice. I cannot stand even the smell of licorice. So I asked the jalapeno, please go to another room when you eat this stuff because I can't even smell. But when we were walking on the street, the kids come like, "Hey, elders, do you have some candies for us?" And the whole time, "Yes, I just got candies from home. Come try it." They never asked the candies for us again. That was so disgusting. But that was really funny. We also had an interesting experience when once we knocked on the door and Mason opened the door and he just starts to give us temple signs. That was really something I remember. I was like, I felt dirty after that. That was not so natural and sacred as you see it in the temple. And So yeah, that's my memories and experiences from Dumfries area. And hey, actually, one more. After the Holopainen, I got the chance to trade, and that was Kevin Nelson, my
Okay.
son. Yeah, he was really Utah elder. He came and it's like, oh, I can't believe there's so many churches out here and so many religions. And he would check his shoes to make sure they're already worn out after the week. And I love the kid. He was amazing companion, and we had a great time in Dumfries.
Yeah, I do know him. So great missionary there.
Yeah, and so then I moved to Dumbarton, and my first companion there was Elder Johnson. And with him, we had a really fun. Have you ever done this? I don't know, but for him, to make chopping more interesting, because we were knocking so many doors, so many hours, we would go for the challenge. We would just like next door, you have to use a word penguin just out of the blue. So whenever you knock, you have to do your door approach and somehow to put the word penguin or whatever word it could be. So that was really funny because one time we were knocking on the door and it was a Christmas season, and the lady's like, "No, I'm not interested." And he's like, "Oh, wait a second. Edinburgh Mission is from Lithuania, and he came here to sing you a Christmas carol." I was so grateful the lady slammed the door because that would be the biggest embarrassment on my mission. But that definitely makes good memories. And there also we had interesting experience when we had a dinner appointment with our members, and it was a Christmas dinner. So that was like literally 5 course meal. We were barely able to move out of the table, and we on the way home we saw that we have some time, and we decided to stop by our investigators because we promised that we would say hi during the Christmas. And when we came in, they opened the door and says like, "Finally, you're here. We've been waiting. We haven't eaten. We prepared all this food, and we are waiting just for you." So that was the time when I knew my stomach hurt, but I need to eat because I didn't want to um, make these good people feel bad.
Yeah.
They waited for us. They prepared this meal. I wasn't so paid, but and I thought I'm never gonna eat for a week again. But I was trying to get a lot of weight before I got on the mission. I was very skinny, but on my mission, I put a lot of weight because of those wonderful members who helped the
Yeah.
missionaries.
Scotland is definitely a gain weight mission for most
Yes,
of us.
yes. And also, I remember like I'm how should I put? I'm Lithuanian, but I speak Russian. You know, my parents are Russian. So I remember one time Scotland was playing Lithuania, and Lithuania actually won 1-0. So every time when people were asking where you're from, I was saying Russia because I know how important, how they would be mad if I would be Lithuanian. They would be so mad at us. So after
Did
Elder
you
Johnson,
did you speak
yeah,
did you speak English before you went?
well, I thought I did. I thought I did until I met these people like, where are you from? It's like, oh, I don't speak English. I don't understand. Now I think the Scottish accent is the best, and it's the music to my ear. And uh, partly how I started learning about the church is the English class, the class of missionaries we're holding. So, yeah, and my English was more American English than the proper English. So I thought I do speak English, but I guess like most of us, when you come to Scotland, it takes some time to learn the English again.
Yep. Yep, for sure.
And then I got to go to Inverness, and that was absolutely the beautiful, probably part of Scotland. And I started to surf with other Rene Fields. So I guess I got a lot of international friends, more than Americans companions, and I have there. And that was a mission with a car. I never got my license, so I drove a couple of times illegally, but really wanted to try. But with Felder Fields, it was really funny because I was afraid of his driving. I probably gave the poor guy so much bad time that he was probably because I was afraid we're gonna die sometimes. But that was really funny. And going from Dumbarton to Inverness, it was a huge change. The area was much bigger. We had islands with us also to look for after us, and but Inverness, is where I also saw a surf with Robert Anderson. And I remember he was on your podcast, and he was also speaking about one of our investigator, Alex McPhee, who was deaf and who could not speak, and we were trying very hard to teach him. And it was a really interesting experience. I was texting him after this podcast, showing the notes. I've actually had Alex prayer because it took us such a long time to teach him how to pray with his own words. It was such a small progress. He would say, "Do you understand?" Yes, and he will say the standard prayer from the Bible, and then you try to explain him again. And one time I remember we explained, "Do you understand?" Yes. You have to do the 4 steps. This is how you do it. Will you do it? Yes. He read his Lord's Prayer, and then he just read the first verse. Heavenly Father, we thank thee, we ask thee, in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Is it good? It's like, yes, Alex, that's good. but, but finally, we let him, we taught him. And the interesting thing about him, uh, he always was waiting for us on the balcony after we found him. Whenever we had an appointment, you come and you would see Alex standing there in the balcony, waving at us and waiting for us to come. And that was really, really special moments with Alex, and trying to scribe for him and the sacrament meeting just for him to understand what's going on. My hands would hurt so bad because he tried to record after the people who were speaking. But definitely, uh, definitely interesting experience.
That's beautiful. That just the imagery of somebody waiting for you coming.
Yeah,
Amazing.
like I said, Scotland is very interesting. It's I'm talking about Inverness. I think this was a kind of a posh area, and the more posh area, the harder it is to find people to teach. But the more poor area, it's more dangerous. It's more bad, but people, you find really good people there most of the time. I remember I was reading my journal and I said, like, in Inverness, it's impossible to teach anybody from the door. It's like impossible to find people to teach. When in other areas you have we had couple baptism from knocking the door, or golden question GQ on the street, and Inverness was just a really, people were super nice but super not interested.
Yeah.
So after Inverness, I got called to Motherwell. Yeah, with Inverness, I also served with Father Watson, and Trevor Watson was the hardest working companion I had on my mission. Absolutely loved the guy, and had chance to meet him a couple years ago when I was in States. So he didn't change, still hardworking fella. So that was really, really great. And yeah, so after Inverness, I went to the Motherwell, where I served with Robert Anderson, whom I also came on a mission with. And uh, from, uh, let me tell you another story. It's not with Father Robert Anderson. I don't remember who was it from my companions, but there was a really funny story. We were teaching one lady, and there was us, elders, and there was member, and we were teaching one lady, and she was just saying, like, I want to have kids. I really uh, don't know how the Lord can bless me, and is how I, this is my desire of my heart. And I remember bearing a testimony that with Lord is everything is possible. And then we kind of were wrapping up, and my companion says, "Is there anything I can do for you?" The look on the lady, and then we looked at each other. Just a normal phrase we all use, but in that circumstances, that was the most hilarious thing to say, and I think that was really funny.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, that's that's all I have marked to mention. I guess I kind of went
What did you?
through.
Was it just Elder Anderson in Motherwell? Did you have
It was
anybody?
one more Ellerson, and I forgot who it was, and I forgot my journal to look at it. I should be reading it with me. There was somebody else.
That's
And you
okay.
had one more. I had one more competitor, but my memory with age becoming worse and worse.
It's over 20 years now, so we're getting there.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah, and I started 21. I started the mission 21, so wasn't like 18. It was different for me, so I felt all smarter than everybody else, and such a shame when you look
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah, I know this experience for a lot of us, myself included, has caused us to go dig out some of those mission relics and start looking through, and having those memories and things just they've been out of mind for almost 20 years. So you served under the Wilkinsons. Do you have any specific memories with President and Sister Wilkinson?
Do you ever talked about baseball baptisms in this podcast?
So I know what they are. I don't think we've had anybody really talk about them much.
So this is this topic President Wilkinson would not talked about. We knew that this was happening because he was a missionary, but he never talked about. And I found one member who was, and actually there was a couple of members who were baseball baptisms and who knew Elder Wilkinson from his age. And it wasn't Dumfries actually, and
Yep.
who was telling this. So I just again, it just shows how the Lord works in mysterious ways. For those who haven't heard, in those long time ago days, missionaries would invite people to play baseball. And before they do, they would invite them to the church and teach them discussion. Actually, say like, "Let's get baptized before we go play baseball. This is the part of the ritual." So we have very strong members in Scotland who wear this baseball baptism. So I think it shows me that uh, if if the Spirit testifies, it really doesn't matter what you say or what you do. It doesn't matter. I- if you teach by the Spirit, the words do not really matter. The most
Yep.
important thing is the Spirit, and that's what I tell the missionaries back home who try to learn Lithuanian language, which is probably on the top 10 most hard to learn languages in the world. And don't worry. The main important thing is when you teach by the Spirit. With Wilkinson, I also remember that was the time when they were changing the discussion. I just finished memorize all the 6 discussions, and they say it's time to teach in your own words. And I think it was very hard switch for Elder Wilkinson as well as for all of us. We didn't understand how to do it, and but I, I I see the progress and that the work doesn't stop. And look what's going on right now, how missionaries find people through Facebook and all different other things. It just definitely proves that this is the work of the Lord. Otherwise, the young people like you and me would destroy this church long before when they were missionaries.
And how about with President and Sister Brains?
Yeah, President Sister Brains were also a huge impact. I guess he was also laughing about my future companion, who would be very big in stature, and but he was a very good heart. And I remember that when I came to airport, I was basically not carrying anything. I was carrying books. I really want to learn more about the church doctrine, and there was no internet, no so much information on the internet as was. So my bags were with the books and everything. So they were very overweight. And he just paid to make sure I was able to get these things home and now read them. It's just still I treasure my library, which is important part of for me right at the moment. So
Great. Very good. Is there anybody else, you ran through your companions, but any other missionaries you served around or with that you want to shout out on here that we could try to get on the podcast if we haven't already?
I think I mentioned everybody. I know Jacob Carter. What Trevor Watson was here? No, I didn't see
Not
him.
yet. No,
Yeah, Kevin Nelson.
we've been in contact with him, but come on, Kevin, gotta get on.
Come on, Kevin. Come on, your daddy's waiting for you.
There we go.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and I even met my grandson. So Nelson was training in one of the military tattoos. I met my grandson. Don't remember his name. Somewhere in my journal. I think for for the missionaries. And I think it's Sir Wilkinson who was saying the biggest call you get is to be a trainer, and I absolutely agree with him. Being a trainer was the most sweetest and most wanted thing I had on my mission. So I'm happy I had this chance, and I'm so happy for Kevin Nelson, who was my companion.
Fantastic. Well, Dennis, I really appreciate you making the time for us coming on the podcast. It's not possible without the guests. We got to have people like yourself willing to come on. So really appreciate it.
Keep up a good work, and yes, I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing more. And by the way, to all my American friends, I know Lithuania just beat US team in basketball. Basketball is religion number one in Lithuania, they say. So I had to bring it on. I hope you don't cut it by the.
We'll leave it in. Well, I'll be sure. Zach does the editing. I'll make sure he leaves it in. That's great. Well, thank you, and it's been a pleasure. You're our brother in Scotland, and we love you.
Thank you for what you do. It's really appreciated. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.